Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah ta'ala, everybody having a beautiful, blessed, and peaceful Ramadan. We on the, what's this, the 28th day, going into the 29th night. So, hopefully everybody Ramadan has been going well. Mine been cool. I actually accomplished a Ramadan goal. Although I got a couple of nights left, but this year has been the first year that I actually been able to go to sleep, right? And intentionally wake up to do my Taraweeh prayers during the third part of the night when Allah comes down to the lowest heaven. And alhamdulillah, it's so now I'm turning it into more ajr, seeking more ajr, because now I'm giving up sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like with the term of tahajjud. So that add a little bit more to the reward, Bismillah ta'ala. And I've been able to do it every single night. And it's setting me up for a pattern for after Ramadan, Bismillah ta'ala. And by the will of Allah, I'll be able to continue to do it. And I've been making dua for Allah to keep me steadfast on it for at least a year. So every night go to sleep and wake up. Of course, Taraweeh, Tahajjud, they are night prayers, so it's not going to be Taraweeh, but I'm going to be just doing the same thing under the format of Tahajjud, your 2 and 2 and 2. So alhamdulillah, man, Allah blessed me to be able to do that this Ramadan, and the experience has been a whole lot better than any of my other Ramadans as far as the prayer that way and being consistent with the things that I've been asking for with my du'as. So hopefully, man, people was able to accomplish some of their Ramadan goals, and hopefully individuals have some Ramadan, when Ramadan is over, some goals that they set for themselves to accomplish from the end of this Ramadan to the beginning of next Ramadan. And if you have those type of goals and intentions, may Allah make it easy for you and bless you with tawfiq. And if you don't have them, may Allah put it in your heart to set your mind on something. Islamic goals. And may Allah allow, put it in your heart and allow you to grow and accomplish and do those things to the next Ramadan and for the rest of your life, if it's something you want to do the rest of your life. Just like an example with me. So from one Ramadan to the next, every year I do something from the Deen. So like one of my things was, I did from one Ramadan to the next, I did every single fast that's in the Sunnah. No matter what it was, even the fast of Dawood. I just didn't do the fast of Dawood for 6 months, but like every other day consistently, and then another month, 3 days. Then your fast of this, the 10th of this, the 15th of that, the 10 days of this, 6 days of that. Every single fast that's in the Deen, I did them. So every single month I was fasting for a period of time, all the way up until the next Ramadan came. I did that for 2 years actually. Alhamdulillah. So like now my new thing is from this Ramadan to the next Ramadan, and I'm hoping I could get it for 2 years like I did with the fasting. where every night I'm going to sleep and then waking up at a particular time to do my night prayers, to Hajj. I want to make sure that I sleep first and then get up and do it. It's more ajr, more barakats, seeking that nikmah from Allah. But it was just a couple of things I want to talk about and try to be brief, nothing major. About mental health with the Muslims. Because like I always say, I talk to a lot of Muslims almost daily. Some has broke down a little bit, but like right now, I know like at least 4 Muslims that's in like therapy, like that has to go see like a therapist, which nothing is wrong with that. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with that. But just seeing that life is coming to that. And then I probably know like maybe another 3 that possibly needs to go. Like serious, like some of the questions that I get, like people really be genuinely asking me with sincerity, like how do I deal with mental health issues? Like I don't feel like myself. Like, like I genuinely feel like something is wrong with me. Or, people thinking they bipolar. They self-diagnose themselves. And one thing when you start to get involved in the studying, man, one thing that you learn is if you're going to put yourself in a position where you're going to be in front of the people, everybody don't go to study and learn for the purposes of wanting to come teach others. Some people just study, like myself, like that was never a position I really ever wanted to be in. I do like to talk and teach and deal with people, but me studying everything was for me. But what you learn is you have to kind of figure out how to be almost everything that a person needs. Like an example, a person know they don't feel right. So they may be able to self-diagnose at home. Like they may have a stomach ache. They may have a chest pain. The sniffles. So they know something not right. So they may go buy some over-the-counter medicines. And sometimes over-the-counter medicines and some prescribed medicines, they fix the symptoms, but not what the actual problem is. Or they may keep the symptoms down until, if it's something that's viral, until it passes through your body, right? So, what I'm getting at is, when it get bad, you might have to go to the hospital. So you don't know what's wrong with you. So you go to a hospital and then they put a doctor in front of you. That doctor has to be able to look at you, listen to what you're telling them, and your symptoms, and then that doctor has to know what needs to be prescribed to you. Sometimes in Islam, you have to be able to do that. When a person come to you and tell you what's going on with them, what they're feeling like, mental health, this and that, Islamically, in the Deen, the Sharia, Quran, and Sunnah, sometimes you have to be able to say, this is the prescription that you need. It ain't always a one size fit all, because you could see 2 people having the exact same problems, and be in the exact same situations, but it's for 2 different reasons. One of them is in that situation and going through what they're going through because of their own hands. The other person may be in that exact same situation and dealing with the exact same thing based off of the person or the people that they chose to be around. So it ain't a one size fit all. Sometimes you have to tell these certain people, you can't give them both the exact same advice. You can't point them to the exact same thing in the Deen, because it's not going to cure them. Just like, for instance, if one person go to the hospital, they having real bad stomach pains because they're a real bad alcoholic, right? And then another person goes and they just having stomach pains based off of they went to a family gathering and it was something that they ate. The exact same mess. So these is two people, exact same situation, but for two different reasons. You can't prescribe the person who just may possibly have a little bit of food poisoning. You can't give them the same medicine that the person whose stomach is messed up because they're alcoholic. They may have ulcers. They may have cirrhosis of the liver. So it's the same thing with the Deen. So, and I'm saying that because sometimes when you start to, like I said, when you start to go and to educate yourself, not like teaching yourself, when you start to get into these lessons and stuff, you have to learn how to be a little bit of something for everybody when they come to you or when you see them. So what I'm saying is, just like when certain people go to the doctor, they don't know what's wrong with them, but they know it's something. Sometimes you may be dealing with people that don't know what's wrong with them, but they know it's something, but you're able to see what it is, just like that doctor is able to see what's going on with you. Just like people who go to see a therapist and they sit down and talk, and then the person listens to them. They're supposed to be able to listen to them, absorb that, be analytical, and fix that situation. So in Islam, man, and I'm speaking on this because, like I said, man, it's a lot of people with mental health, some serious mental health issues going on. And one of the underlying things that I'm seeing is, the thing that they have in common is the way that they practice Islam. Like I say, some people be in these situations due to their own hands, self-destructive, right? Pride, arrogance. And then some people be good people in bad situations, but they got the exact same problem. But that underlying factor, what I'm seeing is the mischiefness of that wicked, rejected one, Shaytan. At the very bottom of that, the underlying issue be Shaytan and the way that they practice their Deen, to the point where they can be affected by Shaytan. As you start to understand, man, one of the most dangerous things on this earth, just imagine it. Just imagine this. Like, listen to this fully. One of the most dangerous things on this earth is a whisper. A whisper from Shaytan can destroy a whole entire family, generations, a person's whole life. But then what people don't realize is, what you have individuals is who have that trait of Shaytan in them. And they'll come try to talk to you, but what they doing is they trying to whisper to your heart. You see what I'm saying? They having a conversation with you, but they trying to whisper something in your heart that's going to send you the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? They might do it with a smile. They might do it with some love. But inside them, they know what's in their heart. They know they feeling some type of way, and they know they trying to corrupt you. But they don't recognize the stronghold that Shaytan has on them. You understand? One of the most dangerous things on this earth is a whisper. Shaytan can't do nothing but whisper to you. And like I said, a lot of these underlying issues, it be Shaytan. And when you understand enough about the Deen, you're going to start to realize is once you put yourself in a position with Allah, that those angels that surround you, that protection that comes from Allah can have it pulled back. And then you can be allowed to go through almost anything. It ain't no telling what Allah might allow to happen to you. You know what I'm saying? And so by me talking to a lot of Muslims, and I've always been a studier of people. And that's what sometimes puts you in a position to be able to give an individual that medicine that they may need at the time. But they might not want it. See, one thing that you might learn as a kid, some of the best medicine that was the best medicine that you needed, you didn't like it. It didn't taste good. But you needed it. You know, ain't it amazing that medicine that's actually good for you tastes nasty, but candy that's actually bad for you tastes good? You see how that works? And that just like with me saying that, and then with that firasa, those things start to come, those Quran ayats and different hadiths start to sink in my head. Well, Allah, even though it involves some fighting, but like where it says, you may dislike a thing that's good for you. You may love a thing, you may involve yourself in things that's bad for you. Candy that's horrible for you tastes good. Medicine that's good for you tastes nasty. Sometimes in the Deen, that truth that you have to give a person to help them straighten themselves out, and they don't want to get straightened out, it's going to be nasty to them. You see what I'm saying? And you might have to deal with a lash out from that person. But again, when you really look at it, that underlying issue be was. It be the whispering of Shaytan. So when you look at, I even pulled it up on my phone, right? When you go to Surah 7, starting around ayah number 16, to show you something, man, like you may be able to see this in people. You may be able to see this in yourself. This is something that I've seen in myself before once I knew what to look for. So we're gonna look at Shaytan, right? Some characteristics of Shaytan. When you go to Surah number 7 and you look at ayah number 16, right? No, ayah number 15. So this basically when Shaytan is finna get thrown out of Jannah, right? So he make dua to Allah to grant him respite until the day of resurrection, to the day of judgment. This is a dua that he made to Allah, right? Allah grants Shaytan this dua. And then right after Allah gives Shaytan, right after he answers Shaytan dua, guess what Shaytan did? Told Allah, because you led me astray, because you allowed me to go astray, I'm finna be evil. I'm finna have my way out here. Anybody that you see that's want to worship you, that's on your path, I'm going to misguide them. I'm going to come to them from the front, the back, the sides. This Quran I asked. Number 17, he say, Shaytan tell him, I will approach them from the front, their back, their right, their left, and then you will find most of them ungrateful. You telling Allah what he, you know what I'm saying? You're going to find most of them ungrateful. But the point is, so after he said that, of course, Allah tell him, get out of paradise. You know what I'm saying? Get out of here. But some of us, Allah answers some of our du'as. Especially some of us have been in situations and our life have changed to a point where we couldn't even imagine this for ourselves at one point in time. To the good and to the bad. Some of our lives were so good that, and now our situations is bad, we never could have imagined it at one point. Some of our lives were so bad at one point, and now it's so good, we never could have imagined it. Right? So just for the ones whose life was bad and then it ended up good, to a point that we never could imagine, but we knowing, man, 10 years ago I asked Allah for this. 5 years ago I asked Allah for this. But how many of us did what Shaytan did? We didn't say to Allah, yeah, I'm okay, yeah, I'm finna go out here and be a wicked person. But some of us get out there and try to whisper into the hearts of men and women, corrupt our wives, sisters corrupting their husbands, being manipulative, Muslims corrupting other Muslims. You know what I'm saying? Like, just some real wicked, whispery stuff, whispering to the hearts of men. And I'm, like I said, I'm speaking on this because these whispers and these things is starting to lead to a lot of people having mental health issues, where your mentality isn't healthy. You know, we gotta speak soft, politically correct. Your mind's sick, man. Your mind is sick. But now they just refer to it as mental health. And I see a lot of people, I see Muslims, they working on the wrong things. Let me, prime example. Muslim sister, I need to get my life together. Right? Okay, cool, alhamdulillah. What you gonna do? You gonna start taking some classes Islamically? You gonna get to reading? You gonna figure out a way to get you some income? Like what's your plans to get your life together? And their response is, nah, I need to start doing some butt squats. You know what I'm saying? Because I need to attract a man to do everything for me that I don't want to do for myself. And it ain't working for them. You have to understand. And then, some people, who cuss, now they don't want to cuss, trying to clean up their speech and speak more properly. You know what I'm saying? Which ain't nothing wrong with that. But everything that's Islamically that's going to fix a person, they leaving it on the back burner. See, everybody keep trying to adjust and fix their dunya. But they don't see that the underlying issue is that whisper from Shaytan. It's that whisper from Shaytan. And then, just like with some people who need to go to the hospital and see a doctor, you got those people, oh, you don't need to go see no doctor. You just need to gargle salt water. You know what I'm saying? Drink some baking soda water. And sometimes those things do work, but sometimes that's not the cure. Sometimes the person that you can go that can actually help you, these individuals will steer you away from them people. But they're going to have to do it in a way where they got to whisper to your heart. They got to plant those seeds of deception in you to keep you from getting cured. Individuals need to pay attention to this. And, I'm serious, man. I talk to a lot of people, man, and I'm seeing them they trying to figure out how to deal with their mental health. And this all Muslims. Man. So I'm gonna speak on another scenario then, and then I want to speak on a saying that I heard years ago, right, by Yusuf Estes. But like, just to show you an example of some whisper, and I'm giving real scenarios. Young Muslim brother, right? His wife, young Muslim brother, he married. His wife just accepted Islam. They got one kid. She's pregnant. But she's like about to give birth within a few weeks. So she had got approved for housing, right? And he had just got like a new job. So, he was going to have a little money. But they needed a little time to get themselves together. So he wasn't going to be on the lease as a person who could live in this apartment. Some Muslims in bad situations had a conversation with him, but whispered to his heart and told him, if you move in with your Muslim wife and your Muslim children and your name not on the lease, none of your prayers is going to be accepted in that house. He knew what he was saying wasn't true, because his plan was, I got a house that I want to put you in, which wasn't his house. You see what I'm saying? Which wasn't his house. Where another Muslim was letting him stay in the house. Now he's finna charge a certain amount of money and get over on the Muslim who letting him live in the house and the Muslim who he's getting to move into it. And this stuff led to a lot of bad situations. But then I sit up and watch the same Muslim come to me and some other people and try to convince us to help them start a masjid with individuals who was getting money in the street, and they wanted to launder their money through the masjid and have all this other type of unpermissible stuff going on in the masjid, right? The same Muslim that told this brother this. He want us to get involved in this situation, but let me put this in. The reason why they told him his prayers wasn't going to be accepted, because it was against the law for him to stay there without being on a lease. It's not against the law. It's not a crime. It's just against the rules of that apartment complex. You can't go to jail for that. If the police did call the police, the most the police could do is say, well, y'all married, this and that. We can't call it trespassing, but the leasing office said you don't have permission to live here, so you could come over and visit. It's not against the law. But they told him, being that it's against the law, none of your prayers are going to be accepted. But you want to establish a masjid that's going to help other Muslims launder drug money, which is against the law. So why ain't that same mindset there that none of the prayers is going to be accepted in that masjid? If none of this man's prayers and his wife's prayers is going to be accepted in their house, why is prayers going to be accepted in this masjid then? If this is your mentality, if this is what you really believe. But no, it was that was you whispered into the heart of that man and put him into a situation that was going to favor you, that was highly unfavorable for him. And this is some of the things, man, that you have to deal with out here. Unfortunately, there's Muslims just like that. Because you got to keep in mind, Shaytan worship Allah in some of the highest places in this whole sphere out of everything that Allah created. He was right there and seen Adam before Adam had life in him. He went through Adam's body when Adam was just a lifeless body and said, this thing is hollow. You know what I'm saying? He went through Adam. So he was at a point where he was up there with the angels. You see what I'm saying? When he told the angels to submit, to prostrate to Adam, Shaytan was right there saying, no, I ain't going to do it. You had to be on a level to be there. But that little bit of something in his heart, because see, when you know about the jinn wars and the things about the jinn, Shaytan was doing this because it wasn't that he was trying to worship Allah for worshiping Allah. He wanted Allah to give him earth. So then when Allah created Adam, I'm finna give this creation the earth. It sent Shaytan over the edge. You see what I'm saying? And it started the war between Shaytan and us. But just look at that mannerism of Shaytan. Allah accepted this dua. And after he accepted the dua, Shaytan said, yeah, now I'm finna be evil and corrupt every single person that's gonna be on your path so that they can end up where I'm at. And right now you can see this stuff being instilled in human beings. In Muslim ummahs. You know what I'm saying? And it's a very sad, unfortunate situation. And like I said, I'm seeing people having some real mental health issues because the way they doing their deen. I'm just gonna be honest, man. Playing with the deen, man, trying to please people. Regardless to how you feel about it, and because you don't see nothing wrong with it and all this other type of stuff, Muslims celebrating Valentine's Day, doing little stuff for Easter, telling family members Happy Easter. Oh, ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying it back. Happy birthdays and born day and anniversary. All this little stuff is resorting back to kufr. This stuff is from the lifestyle of disbelief, and then we keep falling into it, and then when little things start happening to us, we can't figure out why. You keep falling into kufr. One thing about being a Muslim, and like they use the term practicing Muslim, and you say, what do it take to be a practicing Muslim? You need to get up and live your day and try your best to not fall into any kufr in that day. Because like the hadith say, at that moment that you commit those sins, you fell into kufr. And let's be honest, how many individuals jumped up and told their mother or their brother or a cousin, the person that they're with, happy birthday, happy Mother's Day, happy Father's Day, little stuff that's real paganish, that's real, like that's real made up. You know what I'm saying? Your government made these things up so that they can sell stuff and turn and commercialize it for commerce. But then when Allah say these is the days that these is permissible days, your Fridays, treat them like an Eid. The 2 Eids, treat them like an Eid. We'll neglect that and then fall into these man-made things. Who we trying to please? But where that come from? That's that Shaytan fulfilling his promise of I'm going to come, like he said, he gonna come from the front, the back, the left, and the right. It's right there in your Quran, even in English. Falling into a lot of little different things. People who was gang members, now you Muslim, this and that though, but then you go somewhere and you see some of your gang members who wasn't Muslim no more, right? But that was that life of kufr. And then you walk up to him, what's up, bro? You know what I'm saying? You shaking it up and you doing these things. You sitting around doing this stuff. You know, I know we fall into our vices, but you know, some of the bad habits and different things, sitting back, you resorting back to kufr. All while representing Islam, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna tell a Muslim brother who married, baby on the way, trying to strive and get on the path of Islam, if you move in that place, none of your prayers is going to be accepted because you trying to dupe him to get money out of him, to get yourself out of a bad situation. But then at the same time, you want to establish a masjid so that a person who's getting street money can launder their money, all because you're going to get a portion of it. Why your prayers ain't accepted? Why the prayers ain't going to be accepted in that masjid? Why you don't take your own advice? These are the type of Muslims that we have out here now. And wallahi, these is real life scenarios in this city. And I done seen so much turmoil that done came from just these two situations that I named. But guess who's the one that's wrong? The individuals who sit down and say, man, that's candy. That ain't medicine. You understand? Guess who's the hypocrite? The ones who sit up and say, man, do y'all think Allah is not watching? Do you think the angels is not sitting down recording all of this? Or you's a hypocrite? Then they want to get around people and whisper. They want to have a conversation with them, but they want to whisper some hatred into their heart for the very person that sees that they a fraud and a phony. We ain't going to say you're not Muslim. We ain't going to take that away. But is you a fraud and a phony? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Is you a whole bunch of other stuff? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like, because, and I can say that because there's certain hadiths where the Rasul made it clearly. The one who deceives us and the one who do this and that, they not from this ummah. These labels and terms has been laid out for the individuals that do this type of stuff to Muslims under a Muslim cloak. Oh yeah, you know, the one who's selling dope and want to launder their money through you, that ain't a hypocrite though, right? That's a Muslim brother. But the one who sit down and say, y'all gonna use a masjid to launder dope money and had a nerve to call me to be a part of the masjid? But I'm the hypocrite because I sit down and say, man, is y'all crazy? You got to be Majnun. So, bringing it back to a full circle, some people have a mental health issues because they dealing with individuals like this. And when you pay attention, you'll start to see the whispering of Shaytan through human beings. A conversation with you, but whispering some wickedness into your heart, turning you away from the direction you need to go in, but leading you down a whole nother path of destruction. You know what I'm saying? And behind closed doors, some of these individuals, they might be destroyed. It just don't look like it. to the naked eye. But people with that insight, grown men mind, they know the reality of a lot of these people. And you know, so some of these sisters, man, you know, some of these sisters, they married the brothers like that. Some of these brothers, they married to sisters like that. You got to get your Deen together, man. And sometimes we end up in these type of situations because we put ourselves in an unfavorable situation with Allah Azza wa Jal. You got to get yourself right with Allah. So I asked a certain amount of Muslims, right, about the earth beast, the beast, the creature, the monster that's going to come from the earth, right? And he's going to speak to the people. You know, I just asked a certain amount of people how many people was aware of him. And have y'all heard anything about this? Every last person that I asked, none of them knew anything about it. Now, I'm not saying this as a knock, but just showing the relationship that we have with our Quran is not what it's supposed to be, because it speak about this beast in the Quran. You know what I'm saying? It ain't necessarily at the beginning, it ain't necessarily at the end. It's kind of close to the beginning when you know that it's 114 surahs. It's enough where people should have at least read it. And I'm saying some of us have probably read it, but we scammed over it. Due to the English, we didn't catch it. Due to how it was translated. But there's a lot of significance to when that day comes that this beast is going to come from up out of the earth. And it's something that people should look into, because it's going to be so much corruption from Muslims. Like the whole earth going to almost be corrupt. When you get into the tafsirs and all the hadiths that come along with it. Because it's sitting up saying at that day when he comes, trying to become a believer and trying to Deen, it ain't even going to matter at that point. And this isn't referring to the Dajjal. See, a lot of people don't realize, man, that the Dajjal, when the Dajjal comes, I won't get into that because I don't want to make this video long, but this same beast isn't the Dajjal. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the system of the Dajjal, the way that the Muslims is going to have to be in order for them to believe in the Dajjal, and the people on earth that's going to fall into it, you can see the system being set up. And when you know this, and you know that this earth beast is going to emerge from up out of the earth, when the Deen get to a certain position, where the people practicing Islam a certain type of way, this beast going to come from up out of the earth. It's in the Quran. You can see that day coming closer and closer. It's time, man, for individuals to take their Deen serious and really start to learn it and quit playing, man. Like serious. And like I said, I remember a time, man, when the Muslims was the ones that fixed the people. Now the Muslims is in therapy. Need to be in therapy. Self-medicating with whatever they feels like medicate them. Liquid, smoke, pill, illegal sexual intercourses. Muslims, man. Muslims. And we see absolutely nothing wrong with it. You know who the problems is? The ones who sitting around trying to Deen for real. You know why you a problem? Cause you a goody. You know what I'm saying? Cause you a goody. How can you walk your day and not fall into disbelief? You know what I'm saying? Running around like a zindiq. You know? So I'm going to close out with this saying, man, that I heard Yusuf Efstis say. And it's funny because certain people, it cracked me up because we heard a certain person say this years after I said it, but try to make like they came up with it. You know, an individual who try to spread bad information about Muslims, especially me, but they repeating what they heard me say. So anyway, Yusuf asked this, and I just repeated it that day when I heard it. I still have yet to find where it came from, so I don't repeat it. You know what I'm saying? Because they did apply it. They didn't apply it to the Prophet as a hadith, but they relayed it as an athar, like a saying from the Salaf. I still have yet to come across it, and I heard Yusuf Estes say it. So Yusuf Estes said that the Sahaba used to carry their deen. They used to wear their deen on their head like a crown, and they carried the dunya in their hand. Right? Whenever their crown got crooked, whenever their deen started to start to lean and go the wrong way a little bit, they put the dunya down and they straighten their deen up. Right? He said, but now what individuals do is they wear their dunya on their head like a crown, and they carry their deen in their hand. And once their dunya start to get a little messed up, they start falling off in the dunya, they don't have what they want, they ain't getting what they chasing, they put their deen down and straighten their dunya up. Right? Like I said, I still have yet to come across that athar, but I do see the message that's in it. You know, it's not a hadith. You know what I'm saying? It didn't never say that this is what the Prophet said. At least I don't remember him saying that. I remember him saying the Salaf, the Sahaba. So I'm relaying that story because I'm starting to see that more and more. I'm starting to see people carry their deen in their hand. And a lot of times their deen is in their hand because it's attached to the person that they want. Male or female. They trying to convince this sister, this sister trying to convince this brother. So they got their deen right here, but their dunya is their crown. And when things go wrong, like for instance, okay, I can't get the relationship I want. Let me put my deen down and go get it. Straighten up that dunya. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to in reverse. Wear your deen on your head like a crown and carry your dunya in your hand. And once that deen start getting a little bit, you falling off a little bit, you ain't praying on time, you laxing in your prayers, you know, whatever the case may be, put that dunya down and adjust that deen. You know what I'm saying? Deen like a crown, dunya in your hand, not dunya like a crown and deen in your hand, man, because it's getting worse out here. It's getting worse out here. And like I said, that underlying issue is one of the most dangerous things on this planet, man, and that's a whisper. The whispering of Shaytan, man. So, you know, man, as we close out Ramadan, 29th night, you know, another chance to seek out for Laylatul Qadr. You know, we're not going to just automatically, you know, especially for us who don't know what signs to look for that Allah allowed to be put out there for what it's going to look like. You know, don't automatically start saying it's the 27th mandatory because of some hadith you may be told about. There's a hadith where they talk about every day that there's one that was on the 21st, a year when it was on the 23rd, a year on the 25th. You know what I'm saying? You can't just single out one where the Rasul didn't say it was the 27th. It was just another Sahaba. You got to be able to distinguish athars and hadith where it was a Sahaba who swore by Allah that the year before it was on the 27th. He's not the Rasul. He's not Allah. Now, not saying that it wasn't on the 27th that year before. I believe what he said because he said by Allah. But you can't stamp that because of what a Sahaba said and said Laylatul Qadr is every single year on the 27th forever. When the Rasul sitting up saying, look for it through the last 10 nights on an odd night. You got to take what the Rasul said. Yeah, we don't reject that the companion said, yeah, I swear by Allah, last year was on the 27th. We believe that. There's no doubt about it. But he didn't say it's every year on the 27th. And then some opinions of scholars saying that if the 27th or odd night fall on a Friday, that's more likely might be the day of Laylatul Qadr. That's not what the Rasul said. And then when they put out the signs of what Laylatul Qadr is going to look like, and then for those who get into their Quran and start to understand that the thunder, this is the angels, that the lightning is that rod. This is what your Quran tells you that it is. You got to know when them angels is out. So, man, we need to get it together. 29th night, for those of y'all who started a day late, I feel bad for you because it's going to be the 28th day for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because like I say, when you go and look for the moon that very next day, the moon has phases. The moon doesn't change. So when the moon does show, it's going to show whether it's the second day or the third day or the fourth day. When they didn't see the moon that day in their area, especially around here, then when it showed up the next night, according to the moon, it was the second day, not the first day. So I feel bad for the ones who think it's the 28th due to mistakes of moon sightings. And I'm gonna say mistake. And then y'all chasing it on the wrong day. Or for the ones who felt like they chasing it on the 27th, but y'all a day late. You really chasing it on the 28th. You ain't catching an odd night. You chasing it on the even. For those who just come out that one day. But you know, I ain't saying what Allah ain't gonna accept. But the night of power, Laylatul Qadr is Laylatul Qadr, B. No ifs, ands, buts, or maybes. It ain't like you can say, oh, well, it's our intentions. We feel like it was this day, so therefore it is that day. Nah, not at all. Not at all. And if y'all paid attention to what Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Quran, and pay attention to what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and look at all the hadiths plus the athars, and then know what you should go with, you supposed to go with what Quran and Sunnah say, and not twist up an athar and stamp it as every single year, and then mistakes in moon sightings. Like I said, when you can, another way that you can always tell when it's the middle of the month, 13, 14 to 15, it's always a full moon, a completely full moon those days. So if you lose track of your days, you can look at the moon. Okay, it's full. This is the first complete full. This is automatically the 13th. This is the 14th to 15th. Some people get it twisted and start saying the 14th, 15th to 16th based off of some different fastings during a particular month. That's not the moon phase. Moon phase 13, 14, 15th. So I just had to clarify that because anybody, sometimes people be like, no, 14, 15, 16. We're not talking about the same thing, B. But I could be mistaken. I could be having a lapse. I'm fasting. But I know it's 13, 14, 15. But according to the hadiths I'm familiar with, I just word it that way. Because I know there's differences, and I know there's people worldwide, people in different countries that listen to this, and I don't want to have to argue in the comments. If I made a mistake, y'all can have it. But let me get up out of here, man. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And may Allah be with us all, and may Allah guide us and help us and aid us in our affairs. and keep us on a straight path, because we're going to need it. We're going to need it, and we can't let Shaytan fool us. Like they say, one of the biggest tricks of Shaytan is to make you think that you are the solution. And when you start to think you the solution, you can send yourself on blank missions. I don't do blank missions, B. Even if it's a blank mission, I'm going to know how to turn that mission into something where I could do something that's pleasing to Allah. So although it's a blank mission, dunya-wise, deen-wise, for me, I'm going to make it count. I'm going to seek me some ajr. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to get that nitma from Allah Azza wa Jal and make dua for firasa and whatever barakas is going to come with it. So that's one of the biggest tricks of Shaytan, is to make you think that you are the solution. And I've seen a lot of people, man, who feel like they the solution to everything. I done seen them make a lot of huge messes, man. I done seen them break a whole lot of stuff that can never be fixed. I'm talking about in the deen and in the dunya. And I'm not just referring to one person or one situation. I'm not singling out anybody. I don't want nobody who know me personally to say, oh man, that, because it people I know personally, it might be like 15 people I know that watch these. All 15 people might say, man, he talking about me. And in reality, I might not be talking about not now neither one of them. That's why I say sometimes just because a person is talking about a situation that may apply to you doesn't mean they're talking about you. You understand? They just talking about something that happens to apply to you. But Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.